Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome. Take a seat. Join us for this week's episode of the Cluster Puck Podcast, part of the MHRT Network here at Center Ice. I am Nick, and as always, joined by Brit, what would we say, the better half of the podcast at this point? I think that's the best way to describe it. How are you doing?
The messier, more chaotic half.
And
it's going good. I was honestly, the only thing I've been thinking about lately is, will Cale Makar be on the ice the next time they get on? And he was, so I think we're all good in the Avs land.
I think so. I think we'll be okay, but we're going to talk about that here in just a second. But before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe, follow the MHT Network so you can get notified when shows like the Cluster Puck Podcast go live. You can do so on the various social media platforms of your choosing. And if you want to follow us, we ask that you do so at the Cluster Puck Podcast on Facebook and at Cluster Puck Avs on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. Okay, Britt, so before we get into anything, I decided to wear a specific jersey today. This one is just for you. I figured I should start to pander to a wider audience, I guess is the way I should say it. Those who are firmly trying to manifest Sidney Crosby being an Avalanche player by the end of the season. This is for you. So I have my Team Canada Four Nations face-off jersey, Sidney Crosby.
It's a good looking jersey.
It is a really
Does it feel a lot more probable considering Sidney Crosby's comments the other day about tanking and how he is here to win games and tanking is not something he's interested in a team that is projected to be the second to worst team in the whole entire league. Yeah.
One of the last ones. Okay, let me preface for those who don't know. So Brit, along with several others in the Avalanche podcast community, firmly believe and are trying to manifest daily, I think, Brit, or I don't know if you guys are doing it daily or hourly at this point.
It's spreading to national
it's gaining traction. Firmly believe that Sidney Crosby will be an Avalancheman by the end of this season. If not, he'll for sure sign next season. I'll just say this. I love watching you believe that. And I want to believe that you believe that. And that's why I'm doing this, right? To show that, it's never impossible, but
don't love where this is going.
On that wagon. But the only reason, like I said, I'm doing this is because in the off chance you're right, I want to at least say that I supported you through this cause and wasn't a doubter.
Sounds like a husband and sports fan if there ever was one.
That's right. So just trying to pander to all audiences. So okay, that being said, Britt, there was some preseason hockey that happened on Sunday, and although that's been the Avalanche's only 2 games that they played, there have been some pretty telling occurrences, I guess is how I should say this.
Yeah. They made some fun out of them.
It was very interesting what I was able to get out of these 2 preseason games. So they were both in Denver, both of which were against the Utah Mammoth, and they won both of them. Now, to be honest with you, win, loss in the preseason, it's kind of irrelevant if you ask my opinion.
No, I agree. It's really what can you glean from individual performances?
It's a learning ability for these coaches, for scouts, for kind of anyone really.
Thoughts. Yeah.
But there were a couple of things that happened, and that's kind of why I want to beg this question to you, Britt, as far as veterans in the preseason. So let's kind of dive right into the big one that happened. Cale Makar takes an elbow to the face, right? He falls to the ice. Didn't look fun, but it didn't look like it was going to be anything major either. Total accident, right? But the best part about this is that Gabe Landeskog came to the Mammoth player and said, "You have to answer the bell. Like,
Whew.
I'm the captain. I'm going to do what captains do." And it was probably one of the most refreshing things to watch Gabe Landeskog beat the ever-living crap out of
Yeah.
this Mammoth
Oh my
player.
God.
Not
I
because
think
it's,
Gabe
like
needed that more than anything, more than he needed to make a point. I think he just needed to get that out of his system.
I think so. And that proved a couple of things to me. One, Gabe is totally back. I mean, if he's going to go
Yes.
friggin' fight with some kid, yeah, he's totally back.
Yeah,
But the
he's
other
back,
thing,
like, and it's his damn team, and he's here to take it. I mean, he's showing almost a fully flipped over team. Roster wise, we don't have a whole lot of everybody left from the 2022, but he made sure that those guys understand that he's got everyone's back and that this is his team.
yeah, yeah. So it was not only that, but it was kind of exactly what you alluded to, as the captain is back, and that's kind
Yeah.
of something we've been missing for 3 seasons. It's been one of those things that has just been so difficult to embrace leadership when your captain,
Yeah.
granted, he's been there the whole time, he just hasn't been on the ice, hasn't drawn into a fight
Right.
for 3
But
years, and then all
that
of a sudden
fight, that's Gabe Landeskog. I mean, we've watched him beat the shit out of a lot of dudes that most people really don't want to go against, or most people wouldn't bother. But Gabe Landeskog is an absolute master in knowing when is the right time to set the tone. In preseason games, it's not nearly as compelling, but we've seen Gabe Landeskog completely turn games around over a fight at the perfect time. I mean, he's a mood setter, a pace setter, everything. And it was such a good reminder that this is why we waited for 3 years, when I think a lot of the fan base was ready to give up, even though it's not like his salary was going against the cap. But I think there's a lot of people that wouldn't admit it now, but they were totally ready to get rid of him and pass his contract off somewhere else and call it quits on him. And today was a good reminder as to why we didn't.
Mhm. Yeah. And so kind of as the rest of the game went on, it just felt different, right?
Did
I
you
mean, I think it
go?
was
Oh no, it was in Colorado. Sorry.
yeah. I mean, if it were in Utah, I definitely would have been
Oh, for
right
sure.
there. So, um, here's the interesting thing, though. I guess not necessarily interesting, but it's comforting. Is that when that happened, the tides totally turned. Like you could like the game just shifted straight to
Yeah.
Avalanche and it stayed there forever. Like it was incredible. 2 goals from Gavin
Those,
Brindley,
you could
2
tell the
goals
young
from
guys.
Tristan Nielsen had another one. And then the
Mhm.
5th one, I believe, went to Daniel Gushkin. Yeah. So all the young kids scored goals, which was super
Yep.
phenomenal. And against, I believe, Vitek Vanacek was in net for a good chunk of the time for
Yeah.
Utah.
And he's not a slouch.
And he's just came off of a Stanley
Yeah,
Cup
that's a
winning
real
team, for
goalie.
crying out loud. So it was really, good to see, these 2 from Gavin Brindley. And like I said, the score itself didn't exactly matter, but what I got out of this, Brit, is a question, and I will pose that question to you now. With veterans being in preseason games like this, especially like right off the bat, first preseason game, and you see
Hey.
something like this happen to Cale Makar, you see Gabe
Yeah.
Landeskog take charge, with the preseason being 6 games, now moving to 4 in next season and then onward. Is that going to be something that, in essence, protects the veterans? Is that kind of another reason they're doing that? So that these
Yeah.
kind of meaningless injuries don't occur as much? Do you think it's helping or hurting the veterans of the game?
I've kind of struggled with it a little bit off and on, because it does have less like literal time on ice and chance to get hurt, just pure numbers wise. But the only thing that concerns me is for the guys like I can't remember the guy's name that hit Kale. The guys that are trying to earn a spot, they have to go, a third harder than
Mm-hmm.
trying to get noticed in 2 less games. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
they might be a little more prone to acting even more aggressive or making more choices that could either result in herodom or, so there's a lot of dudes who would probably completely tarnish their reputation entirely by, I mean, imagine if Cale Makar had been injured. That's a good way to not make a team is by injuring the best defenseman in the NHL. So that's the one part that does concern me. As far as like the whole getting in shape part of it or being prepared for the season part of it, it's just such different times. These guys are literally quite possibly going even harder in the summer as far as training and conditioning than they are during the season. So that doesn't concern me. It is harder for teams like ours, I think, to have less games. It does force us to put more veteran minutes in at the same time and closer together, because we had a large turnover and we really do have a lot of decisions to make roster-wise and lineup-wise. So we do have to utilize more minutes in a short amount of time instead of spreading it out. But it also is encouraging, I think, getting off to a quick start and they'll have played enough minutes together. I mean, use the Nelson, who's that line with Nelson? I can't even think of names right now. I'm having a total brain fart.
Nichushkin and
Nelson.
Landeskog, I believe, are going to be on that line.
That line, would you have ever put that line,
isn't that nuts?
At this point right now, from what we've seen, leave it. Like I think we need to roll, and that's not something that I would have anticipated. I'm not sure how we got there. It's almost like kind of the Brock Nelson is the 2C, and that's kind of two dudes we didn't for sure have a place for right now. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I love it. And so it's nice that they had to find that quick, and now hopefully we can roll into the season having played real minutes together with the NHL team, which it seems like they, especially the Avs, were more prone to not really playing a lot of full line minutes together. We've had more spots to fill, so it feels like we should be ready to roll into the first game. Pretty ready to go.
Yeah, and so I guess to answer my own question before we go on to the next game, I would agree with you. I think having a smaller amount of games, it's not necessarily, I mean, because most of the time anyways, the young guns, the young kids, they're just going to get sent back down anyways. Right now, does it give them less of an opportunity to kind of show their stuff? Yes. However, if I was a team, that had some, you have to have a minimum of, I believe they said 6, 8 veteran players, and they count first round draft picks as a veteran.
Yeah.
If I'm out there with basically my cash, right, the whole reason we have a team, I don't want to have them play more games than they need to.
Right. We don't need Cale Makar's playing.
Exactly. And it especially sucks because this was Cale Makar's first game and he takes the elbow. I mean, that wouldn't have mattered if it were a 4-game preseason or a 6-game preseason. It was game 1. So that's kind of a one-off. But I'm saying like in those later games where, or I guess still in the earlier games where these injuries could happen. I mean, it even happened in the second game, just on the other side of the puck. Where the Avs, they won that game 2-3, but Logan Cooley with Utah, he took a hit and
so much.
left the ice. So same kind of deal there. It's
particularly frustrating when it's guys who like Cale Makar, we're not working out any kinks or trying to figure out where he belongs. So having him on there is so just because we kind of gotta, I mean, there's nothing that we're trying to figure out with. And our team is really in a solid spot. Last year felt like we really needed preseason. We probably could have had 6 more years of preseason and not known exactly what to do with our roster. But years like this, especially with guys like Cale Makar.
and where you're just this close to the regular season, the start of the regular season, and you have the healthiest team that you've had for 3 years, like this is,
I know.
especially for us, it's one of those nail-biting things where you see, hits like that, and granted, you're you know he's going to be okay, but it still just kind of gets you tense just for a second because
Right. You
it's
never know
another
what's going to linger until December.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's exactly what I was thinking, because ultimately it's just another kid on an opposing team trying to show that he's got the stuff
Right.
for the big
And that's what
games,
he's going
right?
to do.
Which you can't fault him for, and it was accidental, but there
Right.
poses just so many of these risks of injury that could wipe out a guy's season, a veteran season, just because a kid was trying to prove a point. You know what I mean?
Like case in point, Jamie Benn has a collapsed lung right now.
There you go. That's a great point. He's going to miss some time because,
Granted, that might be just the good Lord, acting
could be, and it could have been
on our behalf.
I mean,
but
could be.
I mean, and it sounds like that's apparently easier recovery than I thought. They said 3 to 4 weeks, but that's even
You
Jamie
just kind
Ben,
of patch
as
it with
much as
duct tape and
man, they just got to do some like devil seances over him. But I mean,
well,
as much as we dislike him, every single bit of his existence, Jamie Benn is the Stars' Gabe Landeskog. He is their tone setter. He is their heartbeat. I mean, so that's really hard for them, especially when he is having a career renaissance. Last year, I mean, he was points-wise and emotion-wise a very, very important part of that team. You could see when he struggled, it directly affected their ability to win.
Yep, he absolutely was. And the sad part is, Brit, is I'm going to be in Dallas. My wife and I and my parents were all going to Dallas, and we're going to a Stars game. And
so you didn't get a boo him?
Well, that was going to be the intent, but now I'm going to boo.
Look him in the eyes.
Yep, and here's the other sad part about this, Brit, is I bought a Lee and Bixel jersey just because it's cool to have my last name, my actual last name.
Oh, for sure.
On a jersey.
Man, he's an asshole too. He is just
he's a menace, but it's like
pest.
But it's last name, and I never get to see that in the NHL. So we're gonna go. We're gonna cheer for the Stars for one game ever.
I haven't been paying attention. Does it sound? Is he going to be a regular part of their roster? Because I mean, he really against us. He was
like it. He was a meanie.
A very important part of their beating us.
He was. So, anyway, that aside, I just want to throw that tangent out there that we're no longer going to be there, so
I'll
I can low key boo Jamie Benn while wearing a Stars jersey. But I digress. So effectively now, Brit, that's kind of this veteran question in a nutshell, right? I mean, it obviously, they only need to play over 2 games and then they're good to go, because in the in the regular, the off season, they're training still, they're practicing, they're staying in shape. I mean, it's not like,
and most of the best players are playing with the best. I mean, McKinnon is playing with Marchand, Crosby. I mean, their summers are spent working out with everybody else that's the top of the league. So, but the thing is, and I'm like right along with everybody else, there's never going to be a perfect answer for preseason. We'll bitch whether there's 5 or 4 or 3 or 6 or 12, there's always going to be a good reason to whine about it. So to me, this seems like a pretty fair mix to me, especially with the season. If they can adjust it, it doesn't feel nearly as obnoxious if they're ending the season earlier, because it feels like before, with the preseason going longer, it hit harder with having the season end so much later. Yeah.
And it's going to be a good little shift that they're moving the season up a couple of weeks. They're taking 2 seasons off of the preseason and then adding those to the regular season. So you have a full and complete 84 game schedule, which to me was 20 years overdue. So it's going to be nice. And again, they don't need that many games to get into shape, especially as the veterans. They only need to play 2. That's the new requirement, is just 2. Or I guess
they've
that's the
got
maximum, I
the
should say,
rookie tournament
2.
down pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah. So in
I
the
think that
end,
there's enough to glean from the rookie tournaments at this point.
yeah, and I think you're going to be just fine with, if you even have a couple of games under your belt. That's all you really need to shake off the big rust, as it were,
Right.
from your body, and kind of have it get back into the muscle memory, the mental memory, all that kind of stuff, and these hockey players, it's not difficult for them. They've been doing this their entire lives. They grew up around the game. I mean, it's easy to just kind of flip that switch, in my opinion. So very quickly, I did want to get to that second game that happened in the split squad game. I would like to just call this the Martin Necas versus Utah Mammoth game.
Yeah, how about
they
that?
skated 3-2, late goal by Brock Nelson, which was awesome. But it was Marty Necas that he was ready beyond anything else. Like, to him, it was like the game 7 of the finals. Like, it was incredible just to watch him skate. He had a great goal. He almost had 2 of them if there wasn't a tip, if I'm not mistaken.
It basically was his goal.
His ceiling, Brit, has still yet to be figured
out. Homeboy's trying to get paid.
Don't you think?
Yeah,
that's also true. But with
it's exactly
cap rising,
the season that he needs to have to get the paycheck that he wants to get.
Yeah, and that's just it. Is with this, the cap jumping another 10 million. I don't think it's going to be that difficult, in my honest opinion, to re-sign Martin Necas. He has said in media availabilities, in off-season comments, stuff like that, that he likes where he's at in Colorado. Right? We've heard him say he's happy there.
Interaction videos, it's true.
Exactly. Yep, those are the ones I'm referring to. Is you can tell he likes where he's at, who he's playing with. I mean, it definitely helps when you have Cale Makar and Nathan Freeman McKinnon on your team.
I mean, there's no one that could complement him better than Nathan McKinnon.
Say that again.
When it comes to truly, there are not many people in this league that he can benefit from more playing either like on the same line as, or even just on the same team as Nathan McKinnon. I mean, he is truly essentially what Necas is looking to get to with that speed. I mean, it's someone that he can learn a lot from. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. And gain a lot from.
Very good. Yeah.
Playing together.
So I think as the season progresses, and now starting the season with him, he knows the system. He'll gel just fine. Again, we've talked about this a couple of times with people that get traded to a new team mid-season the year prior and now start a full season with them. They tend to do better.
Absolutely.
Just be totally honest, what happens with Marty Necas as well.
Well, and I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I'm breaking up here.
Like a bottle rocket. Say what? No, go ahead.
If you think about it, the more I've spent some time thinking on it, I can't imagine how miserable it probably was for him to get traded here for Mikko Rantanen when you consider the fans and the locker room, like how the locker room was caught off guard. It's probably not very fun to be traded for someone who was assumed to be a Colorado Avalanche Hall of Famer, future, jerseys in the rafter, to have him traded as a surprise and not necessarily a welcomed one. I think that we've all warmed up to it and really grown to understand it a lot better at this point. So I think that this year he can come in with a far different mindset and not feel so insecure as though he's unwanted and essentially coming into the exact same places he left in North Carolina, because there was a lot of animosity in North Carolina. And I don't think that he liked their experience there very much after the contentious contract agreements, or excuse me, negotiations.
Sure. So, and again, we've known Necas wasn't exactly happy with where he was, as far because what was he? He wanted to stay or be a center, but they kept him on a wing. And he wasn't necessarily thrilled with that, but yet they do that in Colorado, and he's totally happy with it. I think that's.
I mean, had you ever heard anything about him other than he was a prick who wanted more money? I mean, when he was in North Carolina,
that was kind of all you heard, was
right.
that he just wasn't happy with where he was at. He, you know, there was all kinds of rumors swirling around, but I mean, it truly looks like he's happy here because he understands that McKinnon is a generational player. He understands Makar is a generational player.
Exactly. How could you not want to?
And depth around everyone, including him at this point. He's top line with himself, McKinnon, and Arturi Lehkonen. Right.
And that's he would be the youngest of the core, wouldn't he? I mean, he would truly be the next round of
the new wave. How old is he? Do you recall?
I want to say I think under 25. Because I remember thinking, oh, he's 26. But even still,
so he's got time.
Right. And he's got look at this from a viewpoint that this can be his team. You know, as the other guys age, he's going to be the one kind of moving into a more significant role, kind of at a different time than the main core right now. So he can have a lot invested in this team to take pride in.
Yeah. And again, we talked, this was several episodes ago, but there was a question about the Stanley Cup window. And Ali even asked me this just yesterday, is do you think that the Avalanche Cup window is closing? And I said, listen, I honestly don't. Because you look at that Cale Makar is going to sign. You look at Natchez, who could get long-term, you know, as long as you have all these key players and you keep bringing in important supporting cast, for lack of a better term, your window is going to be 5, 6, 7 years. You're going to have plenty of time.
Natchez is the make or break in so many of these possibilities that the Avs have in the future. It's kind of scary, but also kind of awesome. It's looking more awesome by the day than scary, because it was more scary at first than awesome.
It really was. But anyway, the whole point I was trying to get to is like Natchez, I mean, he looks ready beyond belief. Like I think I'm gonna put it right now. He gets first goal of the regular season against LA.
Yeah, he's gonna be hungry. He wants to get paid,
ready
so
to prove himself. And
Allie loves Natchez, doesn't she? Before he came here. Isn't Allie she's a big Natchez girly, isn't she? Before he came here.
Man. Yeah, before he came to Colorado, Allie was pretty enamored with him. So it was
what I thought.
Kind of a little half bragging moment, even though like I was still wallowing in sadness because Mikko had to go.
Yeah. He's grown a lot. You know, it was really hard after that baloney came out that he wasn't happy in Colorado. It was really hard not to be sour for a while, but over the summer, everything that I've seen, I really do think I think he's going to become a very lovable. If we can pay him and get that worked out, I think he's going to be an integral part that we all learn to love a lot. I think he's a lot sweeter and funnier.
Yeah.
As he grows more comfortable, we're seeing that more often.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Okay, so that being said, that kind of takes care of the games that have happened. Obviously, Sunday, and your next game isn't until Saturday. Like that's an entire week between preseason games. Yeah. That's just nuts.
So weird.
However, we're not how am I supposed to? We are used to this being kind of victims of odd schedulings.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, they have 3 games upcoming between this episode and the next. They play the Dallas Stars and then they play the Golden Knights. Right? So it's Saturday.
Yeah.
And then they play the Golden Knights the first time on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, they go right to Vegas and play them at their place on a little back-to-back. By then, I am going to say that most of these prospects / AHLers that were kind of destined to be down there anyways will already have gotten their reassignments, or if they're headed back to juniors or whatever it is that's going to be. By then, after those 3 games, you'll only have one more Dallas game left which by then it should kind of be your full and complete roster, more or less.
Yep.
Before the regular season begins, Britt. Like this
Yep.
is, it's incredible to be in this position where regular season is so close, but you still have to get through some preseason games. So let's kind of talk about these preseason games that are upcoming. So 3 of them, 2 teams. Is there anything besides don't get injured that you really have as far as takeaways for these games? Maybe something for the young guns, maybe something for the veterans from these types of games, Britt?
I think, I don't know. It kind of makes me sick with the Dallas gig. I just don't know. I don't want anybody to come away not. That's the injury thing is certainly the biggest concern for me. The other big thing that I'm just going to be watching is I'm going to be curious with how often they either separate or put together Natchez and McKinnon. I'm just curious to see. Yeah. Granted, we know that the lines are always going to be fluid, but I'll be curious to see what they start the year off with, because you have to assume that's what they're most comfortable or what they are most pleased with after you don't get the gig together. So I'm kind of excited to see Natchez and McKinnon thrive together and apart. So that's my main thing that I'm watching for.
Sure.
Also, I'd like
my
to see
big thing
Drury
that
kick some ass.
there you go. I'd like to see that too. I think it'd be good to see.
Just kind of really solidify.
My big thing is there are 3, well, really 4 players that I'm looking at particularly as far as who's going to show their, I don't want to say worthiness per se, but just to show that they have that capability to be that last spot on the 4th line. Obviously,
that's
I talked
really all
about
that's
this.
left.
I spoke about this a couple of weeks ago, that currently it's Ivan, in my opinion, that gets that spot. But Nikita Prishkapov is making a case for himself. Gavin Brindley's making a case for himself. I mean,
People are really like it.
Bardakov, I believe, made a good case for himself. So it's one of those tough things where, as soon as Logan O'Connor is back healthy, they're gonna, not gonna be there per se. But in the meantime, they have a chance to really stand out. And right now, Ivan is that guy for me, even though Nikita Prishkapov has a bit more of an offensive flair, I guess is one way to put it.
Yeah.
Ivan
I
has
haven't been able to watch every minute,
game.
but that Berndica, I can never say his name. He is like making some serious waves. There's a lot of coaches and upper staff that seem to really, really be falling in love with him.
Yeah, are you talking about Bardakov? Is that who you're talking about? Or
which was not a name that I anticipated hearing much of.
Yep. Speaking of a name you're not hearing much of, I did want to touch on this. I'm not seeing any Nabokov at all. No Nikita Nabokov. So did
we get him back?
Is he next year? I thought at some point we did, but I'm not seeing anywhere. Yeah, the goalie. Sorry.
I
didn't see his name anywhere. I didn't see his participation anywhere. Do you have any inclination as to where?
That's weird. I had thought that they said he was getting out of his KHL contract 1 year early.
That's what I thought.
And I thought that he would be putting in HL time this year. I wonder if there was maybe a change of plans, or I'll have to look into that, because no, I haven't. Trent Miner and Kyle Kaiser, is that his name? Are the goalies we've seen so far, and I haven't even heard a mention. And as excited as the world is to get Nabokov, man, these Russian names: Prishkapov, Nabokov, and then who's the other one that we sent to the Sharks? Those 3 names all run together in my head. No, the one we sent with him, the little guy. I really liked him. Oh man, it's a K
You're
Russian
talking
name.
about Kovalenko?
Yes,
Nikolai
that one
Kovalenko?
kills me. Yes, so those 3 names, I just kind of mix them up and use them
Yep.
interchangeably. But yeah, Nabokov is, I feel like if he was coming, we definitely would have heard it, because part of me wonders if we're just bringing him over so we can trade him for a certain something something at some point, because he is pretty much our most valuable asset at this point.
Yeah, I think you're right.
We got our goalie stuff.
So
Yeah, so we'll see.
So effectively, kind of to wrap up that question that I had is, I'm looking kind of more at the fourth line for these remaining preseason games, and in my opinion, I think the Avalanche front office and coaching staff are going to just keep whittling that that number of participants down until they have their full roster size. But
And we know how they
I do
operate.
think it's
They
going to go
know
down to
who they
those
want at
four.
this point, and a lot of it's gonna come down to small IQ plays are gonna make or break you. It's the little stuff. Jared Bednar is a guys. He's got his guys. I say it all the time. Jared Bednar, his guys are his guys, and Ivan kind of got himself on the out for a little while. Bednar did come out, and he was asked about why he hadn't come back up, and Bednar was very straightforward and said he wasn't ready. So they seem to be very good about being direct and communicating clearly what they need to see out of people in order for them to receive NHL times. I know that there have been times in other associations that guys seem kind of lost, that they're not sure exactly what they need to do to break through that wall. But it sounds like the Avs are very direct in their communication. So hopefully whatever it was that Ivan was asked to do, they're seeing of him, because I do really like him. I like his work ethic, but there's some guys making it very hard for him this year. Harder than last year. It seemed like last year he was almost the default, this is what we have left kind of guy,
Mm-hmm.
But this year it's have a lot more depth.
Yeah. And
we're on Eric Johnson watch.
It's true. And here's the thing. It's a good problem to have when you are trying to figure out your last depth piece because of just a surgery. Otherwise, it would go to him with Logan
Because
O'Connor.
that we're gonna need them. They're not nothing. They are guys that will hit the NHL ice this year.
Especially for those of us that have been Avalanche fans for a while, we know injuries just hit us at the same time, at the
the seventh defenseman is just as important to us as our fourth defenseman, truly.
It really is, because you're going to need every single depth piece to be developed, or at least have some kind of experience to when the inevitably call up happens, to be ready.
In the preseason, regular season, and then in the playoffs, there's a good chance you're going to see a man, goalies and players alike.
Well, for example, bubble hockey back in the COVID years. Boy, that sounded weird to say. Holy crap. COVID years.
It's so gross to think about now.
Oh, it's weird. There was a weird time.
We are playing Game 7 with Michael Hutchinson. I mean,
that's exactly what I was going to ask you. Do you recall who our goalie was? It was Michael Hutchinson. Game 7 of round 2.
And that was only after JoJo. That's because we couldn't use JoJo.
Exactly.
Because we couldn't.
Like,
I mean,
I believe.
Went through. Sorry, it's a little bit slow for me. I don't mean to keep interrupting you.
No, you're good.
I mean, we were truly like one groin pull away from putting David Ayers in for the rest of the playoffs. It was some scary times.
The great David Ayers. There you go. We were e-bug ready.
And I look back on that with pride, because the fact that we took Dallas at what may have been one of their best chances to win the cup in the last 10 years, we took them to the very last minute. And when you go look and think about that team, was absolutely destroyed. Just, I mean, battered, and oh my God, it's insane. We there was something that I read the other day that over the last 10 years, the Avs have lost the most man games or we've had the most minutes missed of our regular roster in the last 10 years due to injury. And people blame it on the athletic trainers and blah, blah, blah. But like truly so much of it is just freak accidents. And I mean, when you think about Gabe Landeskog's, what the hell, what are we supposed to do? And that was Landeskog's decision to come back. So, I mean, it really has just been a freak of a couple years, but not this year. There's no excuses this year. I mean, we've never been as healthy as we are right now.
Yep. And that's kind of where there's a hitch in my breath, right? Is because I feel like it was my fault that the Mackenzie Blackwood and Sam Girard news was broken, because literally like 2 days before I said, we're in great shape. We don't have to worry, basically. Like I was so confident.
I know, but we deserve to be excited about it.
But it sounds like one of the two is progressing better than the other, maybe miss a couple weeks. They like to keep these things under wraps.
It sure is nice to know we've got guys in the back. I mean, never have we been able to have an injured first goalie and just really not be like sick to our stomach. I mean, it certainly doesn't feel good. As long as we know he's coming back and it's not a long-term thing, I'm not like ready to claw my eyes out over it yet.
Yeah.
I believe that Sammy is progressing very well from what I understand. I believe it's him that is supposed to come back.
That's what I heard as
shortly
well.
After the beginning of the season?
I believe so. He may miss a couple of games, maybe like the first week, I think is kind of what I'm hearing.
I don't care what anyone says. He matters more than what people want to believe. So I hope that he continues to progress well, because
he really does.
Who were they playing on a line? They were playing Burnsy which there's one little tidbit that we missed. He looks good. He looks energized. He doesn't look like he's 50 billion years old. I don't know how I feel about him filling in for Girard with Manson. I don't think I love that. It's not a duo that is made in my heaven. But also they may just be looking to get guys on the ice. Manson, he looks healthy. Doesn't look like he's nagging. You know, it's been a long time since we got a full Josh Manson. It feels like since the Cup win, honestly. And he sure seems ready to freaking go this year from everything that I've said, with everything that he's said. He's such a good leader. He seems so energized. And that's another huge aspect that I don't think a lot of people really think about. I don't think people realize how much of a leader he is in the locker room and on the ice. He's also one of our tone setters. He's our Gabe Landeskog that we've been missing. You know, who knows when to light the lamp. So it feels like the stars are aligning. I don't want to jinx anything, but God, just let me be happy for it for like 2 games at least.
No kidding. So that's, you just got to get through 4 more preseason games, and then you can at least start regular. Okay, that I wanted to touch on before we finish today's episode. This kind of is just around the league news, basically. The Minnesota Wild today revealed a throwback jersey, nodding back to their inaugural season back in the 90s. And Brit, I don't know if to see it, but it's a nice jersey.
It's a hit.
It really
and see people are like losing their minds over it. I think it's a good, beautiful, crisp jersey, and
it is.
It's nothing new or like I'm trying to think of the word. It's not some like transformational vision for them. It's just going back to what doesn't suck. These colors are great. Those are the colors they should have stayed with the whole time. And the problem is they've sucked so hard but I mean, it is nice, crisp colors. The colors,
the shimmering, I think the shimmering gold is my favorite thing. The only thing I will say though, like especially with that numbering font that looks very similar to the old Avalanche numbering font.
Yes, it does. That little spiky.
It slightly looks like the Avalanche's reverse retro 2.0 jersey.
It
just with a little bit different color
doesn't
scheme.
Quite go with the. Yeah, I agree. And to me,
It's close.
the font isn't quite on the same vibe as the jersey. They could have, the font should have been crisper, cleaner lines, just a nice thick round, but everything else, I mean, just so nice.
Yeah.
Not nice, but I'm happy for them that they're away from the pea yellow and that icky green. Just I didn't like where
I
they were going at
also
all.
the John Deere color scheme. See, I happen to
Yes.
quite like that myself, but it's
I know.
it's nice
It's just
that
me,
you
man.
get to see all that old stuff coming back. It's nice that that's making a resurgence. I will say it's been super
And
nice.
I'm always there. I'm always going to side with any retro style comeback. Like I'm always going to end up liking there's just no guarantee. There's a guy that I play hockey with, and he always wears I always call it the PP jersey, the yellow and green Minnesota Wild jersey.
Sure.
And he's a defenseman. I make fun of him the whole time about his PP jersey.
There you go. But
so he'll probably go grab himself a new one.
Especially when he hears this, you know exactly who you are. Get a new jersey.
Yeah.
But speaking of retro, there is another jersey supposedly that is coming out tomorrow by the San Jose Sharks, and they have teased
Sharks
retro
can't miss.
colors, and that is one thing that I am hoping is a hit, because I may be first in line to get some of those, because Sharks jerseys, it feels like you cannot go wrong with anything that they come out with. They just sent a little teaser of a guy opening those vault shelves where you wheel it and it moves. He goes into this bag and you just see him pulling out a jersey that you see the gray, you see the black, and immediately my mind went to like the Ilya Nabokov days, the early Joe Thornton days. So I'm hopeful that they bring back kind of the mid 2000s, early 2000s jersey, but we'll have to see. But apparently that is on the horizon tomorrow morning. What's that?
They're telling us that there's an Avs jersey coming. I'm starting to lose hope, but I mean
the one that's supposed to be the Nordiques flavored one.
Yes, which oh my god, put it right into my veins. I'm here for that.
I hope that's a thing. My gosh, do I hope that's a thing? It would sell out like that.
End date coming. Supposedly, the last few times that they've released the jerseys have been in conjunction or in the same time frame as these fan things. So maybe they'll just come out and surprise us for once with something that isn't our favorite player on their deathbed.
Yeah, could be. So that's just kind of a bit of news around the league. Obviously, some more jerseys being dropped. You got to see, for those of you who continue to watch games around the league, you got to see Carolina's away jersey. I have mixed feelings on that, seeing it in person, but that's neither here nor there.
Because that's the biggest thing is like people go so crazy about the jerseys, but you can't make any decisions until you see it with the gear, because the breezers and the gloves and the helmets, they change everything. Unless you're the Red Wings, everything is always just going to look good. It's always going to look right. Can't miss. Like that's
there you go.
Red and red and red. But yeah, I was going to ask you. I was thinking on this the other day. I got one more just little random question for you.
Yeah.
My dad and I were talking when the Avs first switched over to the blue, the powder blue, from the black helmet, the black everything. Oh my god, we hated it so much. We thought it was just
isn't that crazy?
So, and now when I look at the black stuff, it looks like caveman apparel. It looks seriously like movie level cheeseball hockey. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, so you're absolutely right.
Back and looked. Are you of the same camp, or are you still one of the black was superior? Because
no,
I couldn't stand it if we went back.
I'm team blue the whole way. In fact, I was team blue as soon as it happened. To me,
were you? I don't know why we were so weird about it. But it took them a while to perfect the blue.
It did, because I remember they had a season where their away jersey still had the black numbers, despite the blue
And
shorts.
it was like a navy. Yeah.
And it was kind of odd, but eventually they got it. And now it's one of those where it's like you look at it and it's like, to think that we wore black buckets and black pants
Oh my God.
for 20 some
So
odd
boring.
years, like it was one of those like, I can't believe this moments. And
What a
but guess
shame.
what? That's just kind of a renaissance for every team. Everyone goes through that, you know, as far as what they believe.
Yeah.
I mean, you look San
Oh, yeah.
Jose, they even did that, right? Where they went teal
Yeah.
all the way head to toe, and it looks so good compared to the black teal black, which and that even wasn't a terrible option, but it just the all teal just
That's a
looked
big hope
that
for this
much
Sharks
better.
jersey because we want to celebrate a jersey. Mac and I are going to get one to share. We want
Oh
it to
boy.
be pretty.
You better hang out after the episode's done. I got something to show you if that's the case.
Oh no.
Okay.
Make Mac jealous.
Speaking of though, you don't have to wait long because I think we're going to run this episode all the way to the ground. Next week, I think we're going to finally talk about statistics, who we think, you know, season predictions, because it'll be the last episode before the regular season begins, Britt. It's going to be exciting. So I think next week we're going to just talk about predictions, you know, kind of last minute things to keep in mind in the season, and then we're just going to roll into it.
Feel
I
like
think that's
girls'
what we're
water
gonna do.
excitement.
Yep. So so that's going to be next week's episode, but as far as you guys that are concerned with this episode, that's going to be it for today. Thank you everyone for joining us on this episode of the Cluster Puck Podcast, part of the MHRT network. If you like what you saw, don't forget to like and subscribe and follow the MHRT network so you can get notified when shows like the Cluster Puck Podcast go live. You can do so on the various social media platforms of your choosing. And if you want to follow us, we ask that you do so at the Cluster Puck Podcast on Facebook and at Cluster Puck Avs on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. With that being said, we have one last episode next week before a regular season begins for your Colorado Avalanche. And I cannot tell you how excited I am that we are finally out of the woods. So, with that being said, have a great weekend. And as always, go Avs go.
Fast lane when I pass in the street, bag of money in the passenger seat. Tempo's been asking for me on the road from the west to the east. Way up, I might never come down, cause the coast's racking up the flame out. So high, I might never come down, so what, this is my lifestyle.